Hello, welcome to Anspach and Day. My name's Paul. Just going to do a quick tasting of this year's Oktoberfest beers, which we take an enormous amount of pride and enjoyment in brewing each year. And this year is even more important because it's the first year we've been able to put them into can. So, without further ado, I'm going to start with the Festival Lager. So this is our interpretation of essentially what everyone's going to be drinking or would be drinking at Oktoberfest. It's a little bit stronger than your average kind of Heller style lager, which our normal lager is based on. It's a little bit more Munich malt to get a little bit more colour as well. Really classic Marzen. The really exciting thing about this is it's one of the first beers to go into our horizontal tanks. So it's actually had, I think, over 3 months lagering in a horizontal tank, which is really important to the development of lager beers in particular, and very exciting for us to finally be able to do that. Here we go. So lovely kind of slightly more amber hue than our normal lager. Lovely little white foamy head on there. It's naturally carbonated in tank, so as the beer's fermenting, we just let the CO2 build up and redissolve into the beer, so we're not forcing any gas into it. So you get a lovely tight head. Lovely aroma, a little bit of kind of sort of biscuity cereal notes from the Pilsner malt, a little bit of herb and spice from the European hops that we're using, so very, very traditional. Just really crisp, really smooth, a little bit more malt character than our standard lager, but balanced really nicely with the hops, just keeping that bitterness leveled up to kind of balance it out so the sweetness doesn't overtake things. Really, it should be drunk by the litre in a 10 with 4,000 Australians in Germany, but this is the best we can do. Lovely stuff. Moving on, our Gose. So obviously Oktoberfest, you would typically only be drinking a Marzen style beer. We use it as an opportunity to kind of explore all the beers that Germany has to offer, not just Bavarian styles. So Gose, sour beer, originally from the sort of Leipzig region, brewed with water from the Goslar, which would have been ever so slightly salty, and they use a little bit of coriander, and it has a little bit of tartness to it. Now this is a very down the line Gose. Goses these days have been sort of transformed into all sorts of weird and wonderful things with different fruits and lactose and whatnot to make them kind of unrecognisable to the beer that they're really all about. So super pale, not a lot of malt going on in this. There's a bit of wheat, a little bit of a haze to it. It's using a German ale yeast as well. A little bit of acidity, a little bit of coriander. It's all about balance and freshness, this, with a touch of saltiness just on the finish. So you get a real kind of nice lemony aroma off the nose. Super clean, really nice touch of acidity. It's not puckeringly sour. It's not at your kind of Berliner Weiss or Gose levels. It's just a little bit of tartness to keep things fresh. Really interestingly, it's worth looking into the bottles that these beers used to be packaged into. I won't go into it now because lots of beer to drink, but well worth a Google. Really interesting history to this style. It's just delicious, lovely stuff. Moving very swiftly on to maybe the unexpected star of the show this year for me personally is the Hefeweizen. So again, this is a kind of Bavarian style Hefeweizen, but not typical of an Oktoberfest beer. We make a fair amount of Hefs from time to time. Sometimes really, really traditional. Sometimes we'll use some fruit zest or whatever just to kind of liven things up. This is as down the line as they come. Little touch of Munich malt in there as well, so it's essentially 50-50 Pilsner malt and wheat, but we use a bit of Munich malt for colour, and you just get this beautiful orange hue from it. And the head formation and retention on it as you pour it, you can see is just creamy and just fantastic. So a nice touch of orange there, a bit of haze obviously, there's a lot of wheat in this, and this really nice tight head that just hangs around. Straight away, it's such classic aromas on this. Lots of spice, kind of cloviness, touch of banana kind of flavours coming through. and then the mouthfeel. You get a really nice kind of almost bubblegummy estery notes, but there's really rich kind of creamy mouthfeel that, for me, this is the best Hefeweizen we've brewed. And I want to do it again, and a lot. Oh. And finally, probably the beer that we get most attention for each year is the Rauchbier. I'd say we're one of the few UK breweries that really has a strong commitment to smoke when it comes to brewing. It was way back when we launched, one of our 3 launch beers was a smoked brown, which was influenced by these kind of Bamberg smoke beers. The Rauchbier, we've brewed one every year for Oktoberfest, and it's really our homage to the great smoke beers of Bamberg, like Schenkler and Spezial. For the first time ever, we've brewed it as a lager, as it should be, and it's again spent an extended period of time in our horizontal lagering tanks. So it really is kind of as authentic as it can get, being brewed in London. We use malt from Bamberg, which is smoked over beechwood. It's a lager fermentation, and then it's stored for, this would have been over a month in the lagering tanks. Lovely kind of deep brown colour, little bit of redness, but it's definitely more of a kind of mahogany brown. Beautiful, slightly off-white head, but this is all about the aroma, which is just beautiful. Straight away you're getting that kind of smoked meat, bacon kind of thing going on. It's just perfect. Really nice drinking through that head, really smooth and creamy. You get the smoke hit, but there's a really nice kind of fruit element here as well. Because we're using a combination of malts to arrive at not only the smoke character, but also the colour and the depth of the beer, we're actually getting some kind of, I'd say like kind of fruitcake, red fruit notes from the kind of slightly caramelised malts, which really kind of go to balance out that smoke. So it's not all just about kind of bacon and bonfires. There's some really nice kind of fruity caramel malt flavours to it as well. And the lager fermentation keeps things really crisp and balanced. Beautiful. Really, really happy with that one. So these beers are available on our web shop. Orders in by 5 PM Wednesday will be with you by the weekend. We send them in a really nice little 4-pack with a little description of each beer and a bit more of the illustrations, which shout out to Alan Batley, our illustrator, who's done an absolutely amazing job on these labels. Thanks for watching. Get the beers, enjoy them. I hope you do. Let us know what you think. And Prost.